Ibiza Cupra shares a bunch of its hardware with the VW Polo GTI, and when these cars got facelifted recently, they went from a 1.4 to a 1.8, which is, I mean, that's the best facelift ever, no? On top of that, Seat also decided to no longer offer the DSG transmission in the Cupra version of the car because the engine makes too much torque for the gearbox. That's a very good reason to get rid of a gearbox. So what's the package then? It has one of the biggest motors of the segment, it has very long gearing, tons of standard equipment, and this particular car comes with Nürburgring license plates. Just have a very elaborate package of standard equipment in the Ibiza Cupra, which gives you all sorts of stuff like PDC all around. You have electronic dampers as standard, you have the sat nav, you have heated sport seats, you have xenon headlights, which is very unusual in this class. Because of the low roofline and the relatively high seating position, I'm thinking if Todd wants to fit in here with helmet, he's got to go gangsterly. With Paul, it might work only just. For me, it works. The armrest is very good because it's adjustable, which means you can actually drive like this on the Autobahn. Unfortunately though, especially in the upwards position, it starts squeaking. Not rattling, but squeaking in the most annoying frequency ever. The funny thing about the electronic dampers though is, when you put it in sport mode, you have to really pay attention to even notice that the ride does in fact get stiffer over bumps. On the road, when you leave it in normal, you can hoon. You really can hoon. I mean, it's not like it's too soft, but you gain much precision when you put it in sport mode. And like I said, it doesn't really get less comfortable. ESP can't be fully disabled, which I don't really care about because I run cars in sport mode most of the time anyways. However, the masters of the Hooniverse, they're going to be obviously a bit upset about that. You never really have to fight the Ibiza much. It's more a thing of precision rather than the most playful of chassis. It's just when you're looking for the playfulness that you get from a Fiesta, you're not gonna get that here. It's a bit like Dirk Nowitzki. Like, for the most part, it's ruthless efficiency, but sometimes the old guy gets out the occasional white man dunk. In the rain, like right now, you do have additional playfulness, and obviously there's a bit more understeer. But generally speaking, it's about, all right, there's a corner, let's go through that corner as fast as possible without many shenanigans. The XDS coming out of second gear corners works beautifully though. You don't get that very special sensation that you do from a mechanical limited slip differential. This of course is a brake vectoring system, but it works very efficiently though, as it does in the Fiesta. This feels very similar to the brake vectoring system that you get in the Fiesta. Yeah, from 3,000 RPM onwards, the engine just rips. It goes all the way to 7,000 RPM. The last 1,000 RPM or so are a bit uninspiring to use, but they're not useless because sometimes you get these last 500 RPM you need to make it to the corner entry. Second gear goes all the way to 117 kilometers an hour. And fourth gear, you end up at 217 or 216 kph. Cruise control is fabulous. I mean, it works basically like any other cruise control, but even though this is a manual, I can shift and the cruise control comes back on. The Cupra can do everything you need it to do. It's comfortable on your way to work, you can go grocery shopping, the trunk is big enough, you have good entertainment in here. everything a car needs to do, the Cupra does. And then on the weekend or a random Tuesday, yes, boy! That is a lot of fun. This is why I love the small hot hatchbacks. They have so much balance, and they're just very easy to drive relatively quickly. Yeah, it's quite stable. Under heavy braking, the back end is quite stable. That's reassuring, because usually in these light hatchbacks, there's quite a bit of movement. And there is here, but not so much. Even though the ESP is fully turned on, the car still moves about exactly as much as I need it to. I have no reason for it to move around any more than it does. You could just go flat and the systems figure it out though, in terms of traction control. Now we're coming up to YouTube corner. Let's not do any YouTubian things here. Shifter in this car. It's very precise, short enough to throw. The turn-in works beautifully. Yeah, I mean, that's just beautiful balance. So fun to drive this car. You can take it to the track, take it to a good mountain road, and enjoy the hell out of the car. And that is just a proper package.
Okay, so this is your second Seat, right?
Yes, after the Leon Cupra, this is now the Ibiza Cupra.
We talked about the Leon being the front-wheel drive Golf R, but this is the Polo Fiesta-sized one, right?
Yeah, if you want to have the bigger one, it's actually going to be an $8,000 difference.
Talk about in terms of, do you like it enough to have it in your garage? I mean, you as a buyer, because we get so many questions about, that's great guys, you've taken it on the ring, you've taken it, you know, canyon carving, we drive fast, but what about just living with it all the time and just having it and owning it?
It's going to be better than both the Fiesta and the Pug.
Okay.
Because, well, you do have the electronic dampers, right? So it is, as far as I can tell, more comfortable. The stereo in there is better, the sat-nav is better, and it might be a little easier to live with. On the other hand, though, it's not quite as exciting to drive.
We saw you, I think, more enthusiastic in the other cars. You liked this, but it just came out of you in the other reviews where you were just that much more. Even though you talked about the stability being a better thing here, I think your enthusiasm was far more, and it just came out naturally rather than, you know, you liked it here, but it doesn't sound like you'd go for those other cars first.
Because they're more driver-focused. I still prefer the Pug. I still prefer the Pug because the Torsen diff, that is special. The Fiesta, you've driven the Fiesta.
Of course,
That car gets hilarious all of the time.
Absolutely, yeah.
But I don't want you to get the impression that the Ibiza isn't fun to drive. That's far from the truth.
Okay.
It's a safer approach to performance driving.
So we have to dig further for the enjoyment. We have to really...
It's a little less nutty, and you know, of course...
Ibiza with a shovel in the back, so you can go digging.
Here's an interesting comparison, though. When you take both the Cupra cars the bigger car is a much more driver-focused thing.
Interesting. Okay.
At the same time, it's also got a different platform.
Definitely, it's a significantly larger car. But that's interesting that I mean, I feel like you really found something very special there in essentially the Golf R competitor, and here you found something that you like, but it feels a bit safer. But I like that you're going through these hot hatchbacks. However, if I'm not mistaken, what's next from you is not in this category.
It's a Boxster S 718 Boxster S, 350 horse, 420 Newton meters.
Entirely different car.
Yeah,
and he's
welcome to
just
Porsche.
thinking about it now.
Exactly. Well, and we haven't even driven the 718 yet. So no offense, but we'll be looking forward to that 718. And then actually, what's crazy is this drops about a week or two before we're hanging out with you again in Germany for the pilgrimage trip. Yeah. So that's going to be amazing. And we will actually finally get a little bit of ring time to compete with the fact that you almost live there. So okay, we're gonna work.
And we're bringing people to come share what we're experiencing and showing it to the other people too. So yeah, thank you, man.
Thank you. And then see you in a little while. Couple of weeks, right?
Can't believe it. It's gonna be awesome.